It's tough to give a talk on overthinking without overthinking it. It's 2016. I'm traveling around the world teaching mindfulness to CEOs. And because I'm pushing them out of their comfort zone, I want to push myself out of mine. See, I'd like to be someone who could survive in nature for months, like Cheryl Strayed in Wild. But when it comes to actually sleeping in nature, my favorite season, the Four Seasons Hotel. So to prove something to myself, I signed up for a wilderness solo. 4 days, 3 nights, I'll be alone in a ponderosa pine forest. It's 2 hours from Santa Fe, New Mexico, at an elevation of 7,000 feet. No phone, no watch, no books, no distractions. I have three goals: deepen my connection to nature, strengthen my psychic intuition, and figure out how to set up a tent all by myself. So you can imagine how good I feel. I got that tent set up in the first hour. Thank you. Unfortunately, I did not have time to tell the trees and the birds and the flies how great I was at this nature thing because all of a sudden, out of the blue, a storm rolls in fast. Thunder claps, lightning so close, I hear trees splintering, and it hits me. I'm in a tent with metal poles, surrounded by trees. I am a human lightning rod. Panic sets in, heart pounding in my throat. I try to think and comfort myself how small the odds actually are of being hit by lightning once in a lifetime. Turns out it's 1 in 15,000, but I didn't know that because I didn't have Google. So I spend the next few hours, I don't know how many, crumpled in a ball, scared, freezing cold, totally defeated. And then a clap louder than any of the others, and a tree falls down, rain floods the tent, and I yell out, "I give up! I give up! I give up!" I yell at the thunder and lightning, but I'm no match for it, until finally I really do give up and fall asleep. Spoiler alert, I survived! Now the real challenge begins. 3 days of silence, no storms to fight, just me alone with my thoughts. Turns out lightning's got nothing on my resistant, pissed off mind. Because now I am faced not with an actual threat to my life, just the discomfort of the really hard ground. I did not remember the ground in nature being this hard. The buzzing, biting flies, and the knowledge that I had 3 more days of this, and I signed up for it myself. And then I heard a voice from on high. Gotta get the handouts. Gotta get the handouts. Gotta get the handouts. See, I was leading workshops a few weeks later and I needed to get handouts printed. Handouts that showed research and studies about how our mind is wandering 47% of the time, and research how mindfulness can change both the structure and the function of your brain. So I knew that thinking, gotta get the handouts, would not actually get them printed. But I could not stop thinking it. For a few hours, I was going and going and going until finally I realized, like I had the night before, I had to give up. I give up resisting everything. I give up being mad at myself for having all those thoughts about the handouts. And I give up being someone special who should be able to stop having the thoughts. By giving up, releasing resistance. By fully accepting the moment and fully accepting myself right where I was able to overcome something far more challenging than a lightning storm: the storm of an overthinking mind. A few weeks later, handouts in hand, I'm 1,000 miles from home in a pinstripe suit. And after leading my session on mindfulness and listening and empathy at dinner, the leader of the all-male CEO group, he tells me, the session was fine, but my group didn't think you looked professional. When I asked why, he said, well, when we hired you on the website, you had long straight hair. I showed up at the session with short, not so straight hair. Time to pull out those trusty 3 words. I give up. I give up thinking everyone's going to love me, let alone like me. And I give up thinking that people will think I'm professional, even with a suit, research, and handouts. So, how do you give up without giving up on yourself? 3 words, 3 steps. Yes, you guessed it. I give up. Step 1, I. When I was getting my MBA at Harvard Business School in the late 20th century, there were a lot of things I had to learn and unlearn on my own. Yoga, meditation, emotional healing, energy work. I was in the closet practicing all of those things at the time. Closets were very fashionable back then. One thing I did learn at business school is that leadership is about responsibility. And when it comes to leading yourself, you are the CEO of you. As I often tell leaders and teams, you can't control what other people are going to think, feel, and do. You can take responsibility for your own thoughts, emotions, and actions. But since they didn't teach me how to do that in business school, in my first few jobs, I'd call my dad and I'd say how frustrated I was giving all my time and love and energy to a job and company that didn't love me back. My dad would gently remind me that I was giving love to everyone except myself. I was outsourcing happiness. So step 1 is about taking responsibility for all those different parts of you and having compassion for the part of you that's trying to comfort yourself by overthinking. Ask yourself, like my dad would ask me, who's looking out for the kid? Step 2, give. This is about resourcing yourself. So you're looking out for the kid. What do you need to give the kid in this moment? As a corporate meditation trainer, I have found that the quickest way to get out of overthinking is to get into your body. I like to teach people to take care of their bodies like it's a pet they're responsible for, or a little kid that they love. A quick way to get out of your brain and into your body is to do this. And let's do this right now. So rub your hands like you're building a fire, warm them up, and put those hands one on top of the other right below your belly button. And as you breathe, allow your hands and belly to meet as friends. Step 3, up. This is an acronym about unlimited possibilities. The question is, what kind of possibilities? For those of us with a strong negativity bias, thinking about all the things that could go wrong, it is a practice to imagine all the things that could go as well as or even better than we think. It is a practice to use our wandering minds for good. I outcreate that negativity bias by reminding myself that we are all made of stars. And I do this by walking on fire. I'm serious, I've done it 7 times. So imagine it's New Year's Eve, I'm in New Mexico, I'm standing next to my breathwork teacher David and his sister Julie, barefoot in front of a path of hot coals. I look out at the group lining both sides of the firewalk path and I start saying the mantra. The group joins along. My body will do whatever it must to let me walk on fire. My body will do whatever it must to let me walk on fire. Like any mantra, the more you say it, the more you start to believe it. You set your intention like love, peace, freedom. And then you look up, and on all the firewalks I've ever done, no matter how cloudy it is, there's always one star that comes out. I look up at that star because if you look down, your brain's going to say, danger, danger, red alert, hot coals. That's how you get burned. Those hot coals are like overthinking, all those negative what ifs. I look up at that star. I like to think that star is my dad, the eternal optimist who lived his life like anything was possible. So the next time you find yourself overthinking, first say to yourself, I give up. Release resistance. And then ask yourself these 3 questions. Who's looking out for the kid? I am. You are. What's one thing I can give my body right now? And am I looking up? Because once you know anything is possible, you don't have to think about it. Thank you.